welcome back to the 2013 League of Legends All-Star Weekend and the finals of the team tournament. Now we're just moments away from Game 2 between the Chinese LPL squad and the Korean LCL All-Stars. But first, I'd like to welcome North America's All-Star support, X-Special, to the interview lounge. I'm here with Freak to ask him a couple of questions. Now, X-Special, you just come out of the game against the LCL All-Stars, the Korean team, and you guys didn't play bad, but it just seemed like they were one step ahead.
That's a pretty fair statement. They came out really strong. We prepared, but it's hard to prepare against a team that has so many strong picks. Honestly, we need like 20 bans in order to just have a huge impact on the game. And they just have so many strong champions, and we had a tough time, and they played really well.
So then what do you do then coming into a match like that instead of prepare? Can you prepare your own like multiple strategies for yourselves and get your own roster up to date, or what could you have done differently maybe?
Well, we had we knew our weaknesses going into this tournament, and that one of that was just our champion roster. It wasn't as wide as I had hoped, and against a team that had twice as many champions available, it just showed that these guys know their champions, and we were kind of pigeonholed into certain picks that you guys kind of saw in the first game, for example, Rise, and it just didn't turn out the way we wanted to, but in the end, I think we came out strong in this tournament, so I'm not upset.
Right, proud of the tournament, as you should be. Now, I've noticed that a lot of people have been saying, well, X-Special is playing so good. Well, they've seen you playing in the LCS for 10 weeks. Do you feel yourself that you have stepped up here? And if so, why is that?
That's a tough thing to say. For me personally, I always try to improve. I don't really care about being the best. It's really more that every time I play, I want to be even better for the next game. And coming to the All-Stars, I've learned so much from LCS, and I've learned so much in boot camp, and I've learned so much in this tournament. And once I go back home, I'm going to put all these things I learned, and I'm going to be a better player. And that's really my goal. And I mean, if I eventually do become the best, I mean, that's part of the step. But I always want to improve.
Can you share some insight with us? What kind of things have you learned? What kind of things can you apply to your team or yourself back home?
One big thing is my ability to, since I understand the game at a fairly high level, I should share that with my teammates. I should be making calls. I should let my team know exactly what I'm thinking, and to give my shot caller a higher understanding of the situation. And that's something I haven't really needed to do, since Reginald has always been a really phenomenal shot caller. But after playing with the All-Star team, I feel like I can even help him be even better at shot calling. So that's one of the big things I learned.
Picking a lot up from this tournament and making it more global, what do you feel this has taught you about the entire scene right now, worldwide, and where the strengths are and the weaknesses?
It's really clear with this All-Star tournament that China, Korea, the Asian scene in general, they look really, really strong. And I think it's fair to say that NA has been stepping up, but at the same time, Korea and China are also stepping up. It's really a question of how fast can these NA teams improve, and with the LCS, teams have been improving a lot. I am looking forward to Cloud9. They are a really strong team, new to LCS, and they can really, really put a huge mark in the North American scene and potentially the world.
So last question for you. Looking into the future, the summer split's coming up soon, and after that comes the World Playoffs. How do you see the North American teams stepping up to the World when it comes time to play for the World Championship?
Every team will try their best, that's for sure. Now with Cloud9 into the new LCS roster, I really feel that NA has a pretty good shot. There's going to be stuff coming out with TSM Snapdragon and Cloud9 that will likely impact just how well we do at Worlds. And like I said before, my biggest goal is for NA to have a huge shot at Worlds, and that's really my biggest goal.
All right, thank you very much. And of course, for those of you guys who didn't catch the news at home, Cloud9 is the old Quantic squad that qualified into the LCS. That was a pretty recent sponsor change. So just clearing that up for you guys, just in case you didn't know that one. Special, thank you very much for your time with us. Of course, we do want to get the other games in our way. Let's please send it back over to Demon and chat at the desk.
Thank you very much, Freak and Shox, and of course X-Special. And it's interesting really to hear his words and how he's saying like the Asian scene really has stepped up. And honestly it has. I mean, we knew that kind of coming into this, but it's definitely going to be a bit different for them.
And the biggest thing to take away as we move into this next game is him saying, we need about 20 bans to stop that from happening, because everyone was saying, how could they possibly let Thresh and Zach through? But then in that last game, you and me were talking in between the break, what do they need to react to for China? How do they stop them? Because Twisted Fate and Jace and Lee Sin just kind of seemed unstoppable, but that's going to have its own consequences if they try to ban that out.
And absolutely, and you know, he kind of mentioned it like you were just saying. It's like he needed 20 bans, and we were literally between the break going, they can ban this, but then that's going to be this, and then they need to leave this open. It's like, and actually, that's basically what the teams are going to do. They've got to take that little strategy break and discuss it. So which way do we think it's going to go? Because now it's blue side for China. They want Rumble to sneak through because, honestly, either Rumble or Kha'Zix for PDD because Zach just hasn't been that impactful.
No, PDD's 2 biggest games were on Kha'Zix and on Rumble, and I feel like both of them are going to get banned in this game.
Well, we will see. It is going to be the picks and bans, of course. They could mean that Twisted Fate may sneak through for Messiah. Who knows? We just saw Ambition on it.
There's a chance of it, but if we consider the Korean game to be more fearful of Twisted Fate, the 3 bans are clearly not those 3 here. Maybe he's going to sneak through.
Maybe it will. We do see Karim Rumble. We're expecting to see Kha'Zix maybe banned out here. Kennen and Lee Sin have snuck through. We'll see what the next bans are. Of course, they could be a big difference. Rise targeted as Shy again. I'm not sure about that ban.
And I actually am kind of sure at that ban. The Rise was so dominant. They've been watching, not only in this tournament, the top lane Rise was destroying in the OGN Champions League as well. And I feel like they can play against Jace, maybe if they pick a more aggressive counter.
Oh, man. Maybe they've gone straight for it. Zhao Zhao, if you remember, was landing the hooks day and night against Mistake and the rest of the Garena Premier League All-Stars, and that is definitely a strong pick for them straight away there. You see it getting locked in on those great big monoliths. Of course, Shox did mention, we are going to try and smuggle them back to Canoe. I'm not too sure the customs may allow it through.
Good luck with that one. The Kha'Zix and Jace being picked right after each other really blocks a lot of stuff for PDD in particular to play because his Kha'Zix, as we said, and Rumble were his 2 biggest things, no longer available.
Absolutely, of course, the fact that Shy has taken Jace once again, have they got a plan to figure it out? Jarvan, as you predicted, off air by the way, they said, you know, they're going to leave Ban through, they're going to have to just live with Jarvan, and sure enough, they have let Jarvan through. There is Zach again for PDD. A little bit surprised on that one.
And there is a slight chance that we're going to see the Zach in the jungle and the Jarvan in the top lane because way back in the Season 2 World Championships, PDD's top lane Jarvan was just killer. But with what we've seen recently, Trolls Jarvan is the most likely scenario for them.
We'll see whether it comes out that way. Looks like it's going to be Prey this time on Caitlyn. That's got it selected currently. Just having the discussion right there on your screens, trying to decide. Ambition, of course, the other champion of choice. Probably going to go for the support here.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure because when you pick your 2 solo lanes so quickly like that, you're just saying, well, we're going to pick anything we want. They need to pick a good support against.
Wow.
I'm going to stop for a second.
That's just thrown everything wide open. Ambition says, you know what? I'm going to take Gragas. It's the final. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to have me some alcohol and see how it goes.
Is it a jungle Kha'Zix then?
Oh my God.
I think it's got to be Insect's jungle Kha'Zix.
And funny enough,
Gragas.
if you remember the Korean fun games they had, the All-Stars versus the runners-up, they actually did run Gragas in the jungle. Insect was having fun with that one. I don't think they're going to rock that out in the grand finals, though.
I don't think so either. The most likely thing is a jungle Kha'Zix, but that throws the LPL team for a bit of a loop because now they're trying to figure it out as well. That's most likely what we're going to be seeing. This could be a bit of a return. We'll get to that.
I don't think that's not going to get selected.
The Vayne lock-in is, I think, what the big cheer was for. Because Wei Zhao was almost a Vayne play before double it.
Well, that is very true. And Malphite is a huge champion for China and it has been locked in. Okay, break this one down. That is either a mid-lane Malphite or a mid-lane Zach. And either one on the top or the mid. They're going to be which way or the other.
I think it's mid-lane Malphite for sure. Especially when IG ran this composition. They would run Z-Tai on Malphite and then Zach top for PDD. Probably the most likely scenario, even though the same composition was ran over in Europe in the finals, but they had Zach in the mid lane and Malphite in the top. So you can clearly do it in either way, yeah, definitely. In either role. But this is so much about just everyone flying in from over 1,000 units away and just trying to kill.
And you know, the exciting part is that Insect's playing Insect.
think he's playing Insect.
Well, I can't see any other jungler in there unless they do go
really,
something,
man? What about
something
Lulu?
crazy. They could just pull something completely bonkers out there. Who knows? But it looks like Lulu will get selected. Madlife is still hovering over it. There is still discussions. And remember, Blitzcrank is available, which they may well switch around to, but I doubt it.
Especially because of the incredible dive that's coming out from the Chinese squad. They need the Lulu to just let Prey survive a little bit as everyone comes for him.
So they are the teams locked in. What are we seeing from these two teams? That is a very tanky team from China.
I'm seeing the Gragas being the jungler right now. They actually did trade it away initially. And that's going to be the thing that's probably on the top of my mind as I try to go through this. But the Chinese team is extremely aggressive, mainly because everyone will be able to dive in at once. Their team fight up front is extremely potent. After that, they really have to rely on Wei Zhao's main.
Okay. Question put to you: if this stays this way, Gragas, legitimate jungler.
Insect rune page that is selected right now, it's not locked in, is 20 ability power and 15% attack speed.
What?
That tells me he's doing it. That tells me he's doing
I
it.
want to keep that screen up, and we think he's going to do it. He pulled it out in the runner-up All-Star game in Korea that was broadcast by the OGN, and Monte Cristo kindly broadcast it to the rest of the world so we could see this that happened. And they were very, very strong with that. I'm not going to lie. Coming out the jungle with a belly slam, those explosive casks, that could be a problem.
They're going to win a lot of style points if they win this game, because that is a jungle
Is
Gragas.
that rude, though, to China? Is that like a slap in the face?
I don't know.
On home soil?
I can't tell yet, because the first time that Diamond picked Jungle Volibear, people were saying, what's he doing? He's just messing around.
Yeah, and he was like, And this is Insect.
Uh-huh.
This is Insect. This is the #1 jungler in the world. He won the 1v1 competition, beat the double Lee Sin fight-off against Diamond Prox. If you missed that earlier on, you can check it out on lolesports.com. But we are live into the game, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be the Chinese LPL as the blue team. They are 1-0 down against the Korean LCL All-Stars. And would you believe it, we have Insect on Gragas. Tell your mother, your grandmother, and even wake up your stepdad.
I totally agree. He's like, man, you can't believe the fat character that is picking the jungle. He's wearing Hillbilly Gragas. Let's go watch this guy.
Yeehaw! I don't know where the Hillbilly came from, but nevertheless, he's got Hillbilly Gragas. So as it stands, though, let's have a look. Are they going to go for anything bonkers in this level 1 fight? Will we see any standoffs? We did see some hooks, of course, coming out from the Korean team against the North Americans with that Thresh. I don't think there's going to be any invades, though, this time around.
Yeah, I don't think so. But if anyone's to invade, I mean, Gragas can hop over the walls at level 1. This is going to be a tricky one. And you know about element of surprise. Korea definitely has it here with the jungle Gragas.
I wonder if China have come up against this. I'm sure some statistician will check it out. I'm sure it definitely didn't come up when we were looking at the highest percentages of picks and bans.
No,
That's for sure.
Not very close to that one. And I think you're right about the level 1 jungle scenario here. We're not going to be seeing a contest smite as far as I can tell. We don't even really see many deep wards. There's a lot of wards in the river, but nothing that really gives too much knowledge.
Well, everybody's standing by. PDD looking like he will be in the top lane, so it means the AD and support of China should be down that bottom lane. They're currently lingering around there along the red side. Madlife and Prey also will be down the bottom lane, so this may well be standard meta. I think it's safe to call all, if you can call it that.
Standard meta
with the
Gragas jungle.
I fear for solo queue right now, I really do.
So there was a time where jungle Gragas was actually really strong, like way back in Season 1, when you could build Leviathan and just body slam around with Max W. Those times are long ago.
Leviathan, I forgot that item ever existed. I'm trying to cast it out of my mind, but it is going to be shy in that top lane. PDD will be roaming on his way up there. There is already a ward there, so he may take a knock to the face as he goes up. But Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao have set themselves up in the mid lane, and Prey and Madlife are responding to this one.
So they're trying to reactionarily come back to this, but this will put them back in the mid lane a little bit, because Wao Zhao and Jay Zhao
go straight bottom.
Messed up those names. Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao don't want to do that. They want to shut down Ambition, because they've actually seen Ambition's Kha'Zix before. He tries to get that 350 minion kills by 30 minutes, Kha'Zix, and as much as they can shut him down early, as much as they can prevent that.
Well, we'll see. And who benefits from this swapping again? That's who's going to benefit from it. It's actually going to keep the more that China switch around, they are the ones that are losing out the wave. We saw actually Korea stuck around for that wave. Now they're heading back down the bottom. They're going to pacify that ward, and they are insistent on keeping these lanes equal.
I think it more depends on who initiated the swaps in the first place, because it was actually Korea who decided to do the first swap.
They're going back
to someone should get calm the next time they swap this. The junglers should be catching on if they're going to continue to do these swaps.
Well, the jungler of China, Troll, is just lingering off the side there. They have 4 members currently around that mid lane, so they may well try and catch out Ambition if they suddenly see him coming out there. Look at them. There's a lot of experience being lost by China doing this, though.
They had 4 people just sitting in the jungle while both the lanes were pushing up for quite a while. Now they're going all the way down. I'd say the mind game advantage there definitely comes out for Korea, as they still don't have the lanes they want, but they did get an advantage. There's the catch.
John, there is going to be Troll going in, but it's Prey and Madlock. They may turn this back around on him because they're mid-river, and they are starting to head the way back up the top there. It's generally Prey and Madlock that initiate and do manage to go up that river, but this time, Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao, they're hoping they can stick around and keep it a little longer. There is a giant creep wave in that mid lane that's keeping pushing in, and actually Ambition's just they think, this is brilliant, I'm going to get a lot of farm.
And he really needs to get that, because if the only, he's not even giving it up. If the only goal of what LPL is doing right now is to keep Ambition down, it's being successful, because he's at 7 minion kills as they continue to just bounce back and forth.
He's like, fooled ya, coming back. And Ambition goes back in there and does pick up that big creep wave as well. And look at this, Madlife and Bray is still sticking there. It's like, you know what? We're all going to stay in the mid lane.
Let's just have a good old ARAM here at the end. Please don't. But they're going to be able to maybe get some aggression on. Nice knockback. We are seeing damage in all this madness.
Well, it seems that Prey and Madlife are saying, well, we're happy to stick up against you here. Wei Zhao taking a big slunce of damage there, is backing off, so it seems they're going to go back and buy him. Ambition is going to get his wish and stay a little bit solo with Messiah for a short period.
So I almost forget what the point of this was. Ambition has what he wanted. He wanted the 1v1 lane, even if he's against Malphite, who will stack armor against a mainly physical damage Kha'Zix, which is dangerous in itself. Oh, Zhao Zhao misses the play.
The flash play, the hook goes on to Madlife, but it's a little too close to the turret to follow up. China are forced to back away from this one, but it is Korea back in away. Let's have a look how things have shaken out here, because this top lane, we've really ignored it. PDD and Shy going against it, and again, we do see Shy starting to build up the CS lead though, but we can see PDD, he went for a different build this time around. He got 2 Rejuve builds.
And it was maybe because Shy put too much early harass on him in the last game. This time though, Troll was distracted with all the lane swapping, trying to make a play happen, and still was not able to help Shy's early lane push. But because of the double rejuve, I have to say, the minion kills are much closer.
And actually, while all that was going on as well, Troll did come in and try to interrupt him. He tried to get involved, but you can see in terms of the CS difference between them, Insect just carried on farming. He just carried on doing what he's doing.
Insect spent a little bit of time in the top lane hoping to get a gank, but he's farming up pretty solidly on that jungle Krakus. I really want to see how his build progresses after that Spirit Stone.
And the AD carry as well, you can see it's pretty even between them. We do see differences in the item builds coming out here. We see the Vampiric Scepter being picked up by Wei Zhao, and Prey in terms, he went for the Berserker Greaves early on.
And I feel like that could just be a lane swap game. I need to run back and forth from the lanes even faster because of Berserker's Greaves. But at the same time, almost every Caitlyn we see does go Berserker's Greaves, and a lot of that has to do with, since Caitlyn outranges every other AD carry, if you bring move speed, you kind of keep that tether away from them and they can never close the distance.
I've lost count of how many switches we're at. I think it might be 5. Or maybe 6 right now, because it's happened again. Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao back down the bottom lane against Ambition this time, but the closer Ambition gets to 6, the less it really matters, because once he has those spikes that evolve there, he's just going to be clearing those waves quick anyway.
And because they've been swapping so much and so liberally, he's gotten enough. No one has actually lost out hugely on this, and when the game does devolve to the free lane farming, the 30 CS that he's maybe lost in the first 7 minutes is going to get made up in a couple seconds if he gets a giant stack.
Yeah, he's just like, boom, there's 6 minions gone straight down. Of course, he hasn't got the Tear of the Goddess. He's delayed that building up, which we can see Shy with right now. The belt's coming out from Insect in that top lane. Prey does manage to get a couple of shots on towards Zhao Zhao, but he tries to maybe hang around, and he's actually very close to landing that hook. But again, it is China that want to be in that solo lane. It looks like they were heading up towards the top, but they're going to linger around in this bottom lane, so which means it will be Messiah, which we haven't really taken a look at yet.
No, and we may have actually been focusing on the wrong things with all these lane swaps because we thought it was maybe Ambition versus Messiah that's the strange matchup. Gotta be careful, Insect's got his body slam.
He has got his cast. Oh, he's not going level 6 though. He's going to roll out the power. Does get the body slam down. PDD just bounces away from that one. But that was his ultimate used. Where is the teleport going? Malphite thought about going some there, but he didn't go for it unless he just teleported back to lane.
I believe he teleported. He canceled his teleport's at half the cooldown as it should be, so definitely cancel this teleport or something around this line. I'm just messed up.
Well, we do see an invade in the jungle. PDD is going to get his popped. It will be the passive, though, and he's on the turret. There's a giant creep wave coming in. This may well be first blood for Korea. If they can focus the right target, it's going to wait till he gathers up there. It will be first blood. It's PDD that gets taken down, but now Korea are trying to get on towards Troll. Troll was pushing in. He went and got the blue buff, but you can see it's Mad Life that just picks up the double stack.
And that is huge for the LCL Korean All-Stars. Perfect play at the top lane at first by Shy because he actually waited for the Blobus to get really close, then boom, Shock Blast, kill all of them at once. So there was no way the Blob was reforming under that. And then we were focused on the top, but there was the extended steal attempt by China, which was then reactively punished by China to give them the great early lead.
So, double stack on Mad Life. Yeah, he's going to be having fun at least.
He's got more buffs than he does minion kills so far in this game with all the lane swapping, but he's going to have so much fun with that. And I do have to say we may have had the wrong focus when we were thinking about the lane swaps because we didn't consider Wei Zhao versus Prey and how Vayne was actually wanting to get the extra mini kills in that lane, and that was actually fairly successful for them until recently.
Now at 64 and 76, build order Cutlass has been complete. Insect just dashing away from PDD in that lane. Messiah, of course, he's been a very just out of it, really. Honestly, just sat quite happily farming, quietly doing his thing because Malphite will become very strong in the late game. And if that Malphite Unstoppable Force can set up Wei Zhao very nicely, it is going to be trouble for Korea.
Let's do the unstoppable bounce, maybe, for PDT and Messiah, because they're going to be picking the same target and just going with Troll, and maybe with a little help from Zhao Zhao when they get into the team fight. So even though they're down a bit now, I feel like there is a mid-game point where their team fight will be able to get them some advantages if they play it right.
So Teary the Goddess was finally picked up by Ambition. He's going to start stacking that one out. Brutalizer on Shy already as well, though. He's once again building up very heavily. We may even see a Warmogs coming out from PDD early on here.
And the Shy versus PDD matchup in the top lane is just another example of the too many champions to ban. Because the Jace is something that is feared and often banned, but because there were so many potential champion threats, he gets to play it again. This is not like PDD picked into this matchup because it went well last game. He kind of did it out of necessity.
Taking one for the team. We do see Insect looking at maybe sneaking around towards that blue buff. You see he dashes through, does put the ward down. He's ready and waiting. They know that, of course, Troll is going up towards that top lane. PDD wards out the tri-bush to try and be defensive against Insect, but Messiah, he knew this was coming. He's ready and waiting to get away from it.
He will be able to get away, and Insect's not even going to be burning any kind of explosive cask here, but Insect is farming up quite a storm. I keep forgetting that we have a jungle Gragas in this game, and it's just normal day because Korea's winning just fine with it.
Wei Zhao taking no, but PDD won't have his passive, and he just gets slammed into the ground by Shy.
And this is with the tier still stacking up for him. He has not been shut down, he has not been ganked, and that Brutalizer is wrecking PDD in that top lane.
Destroying. We saw Wei Zhao taking a pilt over just before that, and he takes another. We do see Troll also heading in the bottom, but Insect is coming to join the party. This time the explosive cask is available. Look out, Hawkins play they're going for. He's going to get out of this one. Explosive cask comes down. Oh my god, he landed on a trap, Zhao Zhao. Would you believe it? Of all the luck, or was it skill? Oh my god, Mad Life in the front. He wants to go to Zhao Zhao. Uses his power go, but now we see there's going to be Messiah coming around. He gets up towards Insect. Troll has picked up a double kill now, and they're chasing on. But Ambition is back in the play game. Mad Life is there as well. Will they push on towards the tower? They're going to keep on chasing.
I think that the turret will be salvation for Troll and Messiah at the end of this fight. They really used that teleport well to come down and punish the slight over-aggression of the Korean team. After such a great explosive cast by Insect to separate Zhao Zhao, they thought they would be able to have it and dive through, but they did not factor in Messiah's teleport and Troll comes down.
Let's have a look across the board. Items popping into view as everybody does manage to go back and buy. It looks like it's going to be a potential brutalizer. Interesting to see how Ambition builds it actually, because we saw some very strange builds coming out from it was Toys. It was Toys early on in that mid lane. But I've seen Ambition's build before, and he goes the standard route, or which is now the standard route.
And unless he's forced off of it, I see no reason for him not to go for that Tear of the Goddess. The Muramana is such a ridiculous item since he can use it with his Q late game to just assassinate, eat people. And there's no reason not to. Even though he was late to his tier, he still went for it. And I think it's the right choice.
So he is backing off. Brutalizer probably will get popped in there. We'll see what he goes towards. It is going to be a Muramana complete. So a Mana Mune, not Muramana.
He was slow
complete.
to starting his tier,
Yes.
so he's going to try to be faster to complete it. Once you get the Muramana, it's not only on mana cost, you can get your charge on an auto attack as well. So he's really trying to catch up and hopefully sync his Muramana transform with Shy a little bit so they can go make a play, power spike, right as Zaka and Malphite were trying to get back into it.
And honestly, that is a lot of poke. If you get the Shock Blast and the Void Spikes,
And Gragas.
Void Spikes, Void Spikes, I can't remember the name.
They have
Void Spikes.
They have a very pseudo poke comp here. Because Gragas is often in poke comps as well. He's just never out of the jungle. Then you think Blue Kate, that's as well as Troll is getting eaten.
Troll is getting eaten and destroyed. It's Insect with the explosive. Casca Ambition wanted the kill, and he's just like, no, big barrel of booze.
That was a huge amount of burst. And
There's another huge amount of burst.
I didn't even realize there were blobbits on the ground.
I didn't see the blob that's on the ground. I couldn't quite catch it in the reflection, but we do see Shy going once again 3-0. And honestly, that has really only been one help from Insect there. The rest of them have just been all Shy.
Shy's been destroying PDT, and that's after PDT has had probably the best tournament of anyone up until the finals. So that is such an amazing performance by Shy there in the top lane, fitting for the finals of this All-Star game, but they could be on their way, Korea, to a 2-0 because they're looking so good early.
And speaking of it, we talked about it in the first game, how quiet this arena has been made from that first game. The home team crowd has definitely been absolutely shock and awe, really, effectively, is the word I could use from the Korean team right now.
They've never been able to get into it. They haven't had a lead early game. They're trying to make some cheers when things happen, but every time they're cutting to a kill, it's usually a Chinese all-star team member falling, and I don't even think I heard a cheer for that last kill in Jason in the top lane.
No, I don't think so. It is Insect in this top lane currently. You can see those barrels are really strong now because he's got that Cage's Lucky Pick and the Doran's Ring in there, so he's got a bit of ability power that was well as stacking it up early. And now he's keeping the pressure on Messiah in the top lane. He's just going to ground slam and clear that wave. Wei Zhao, let's have a look at him. 109 CS to 124 of Prey. So even in the CS exchanges that happen early on, Prey has built up a bit of an advantage.
I think as far as a Vayne to Caitlyn matchup, that's a pretty good trade-off for a Vayne, but when you consider the rest of the map, it kind of becomes bad because they spent so much effort lane swapping. The fact that they still weren't able to get an equalized CS number is a bit of an advantage for Korea.
So Shy's going to pick up that red buff, and those shock blasts are going to hurt more and more with that little dot that's going on the back there. Wei Zhao taking some spikes in the back. I gave up remembering what the first name is. It's Ambition that's building it. And that CS, you know, it's starting to stack up. As you mentioned, once he gets that level 6 evolve on towards them, he's just going to wipe out those waves very, very quickly. As you see so often with the Kazakhs, the CS tends to get a little bit out of control on them.
And he's escaped that early game laning phase to try to take it into the team fight phase and maybe power up late game. But Shy he's chasing down a different monster here in the top lane and just wrecking Messiah.
He's absolutely wrecking him, and he's going beyond the tower dive here. Messiah has got his unstoppable force available. Will he delay it long enough? He might turn it around. He didn't even use it instead. He just dies flat out to Shy. 4-0 Shy now.
There was a little bit of respectful applause after that one because they realized how strong he is. He missed his shock blast Q and still came out on top. Insect getting a little greedy.
He's going in. He may well be able to belly slam away from this one. Yes, he does. He walks through there. He has got the cover as well. Ambition in the jungle as well as Mad Life, and he escapes without any harm doing. And that is a turret going down, the first one of the game, and it's the Korean LCL All-Stars that take it.
And even though it hasn't been a defining moment in the member in this game, Insect's jungle Gragas, trying to kind of piece together why it would make more sense if it wasn't just a crazy pick. When you first pick a Jace and a Kha'Zix, you're telling the other team that you have two physical damage solo laners, which immediately cues China to say, well, we're just going to stack super huge armored divers to come into them, which is what they have done with Malphite and Zac. I don't remember the exact moment of the picks, but in that scenario, if there was no AP from the jungle, then it would be much more effective and easier to do. But since they've been able to fit in that jungle AP threat, It might be a little bit to offset that composition, but he will need to get a lot more farm, and the game will have to get a lot closer for that to start to matter.
And honestly, the pressure that Korea have been applying is really not giving Xiao Zhao any chance to try and land those hooks, go aggressive like he was against the Korean All-Stars. And now PDD, he is getting absolutely mauled by the hammer of Shy right now. He has no cares about that. He's like, the tower, he's like, I don't care about this tower.
Shy is not killing that tower intentionally because it's making it even more difficult for China to lend help to that lane. Everyone is seeing how dominant he's being, as they have to help him as they dive in.
They dive into towards Xiao Zhao. He gets taken down. The explosive cast from Insect, and that is going to be the mid turret going down the first time. Xiao Zhao gets a barrel in the back as well for his pleasure. And Shy, like you mentioned, he's just farming between lanes. The minions will take the top lane down as well. That is going to be 2 turrets for Korea.
This is just so much control right now. The goal lead ballooning to 8,000. China may be trying to make a counterattack, but the poke is keeping them at bay, as well as the deaths they've already suffered.
Messiah was trying to linger off at the side there and maybe make a play and come in. He teleported there, I think. I'm not so sure whether he came in from the bottom or not, but Korea already seen him. He walked straight past the ward and they immediately moved towards this inner top turret. It's going to be PDD using less bounce on Shy, but the rest of the Korean team are here to help out. Troll does jump in, but the Cataclysm is not enough. Shy survives that one. PDD, he takes the tilt over Peacemaker. Ambition there comes in. He puts the 4 points down. Messiah comes in now. Has gotten Scott for force, lands it as well. It's going to be Prey getting focused on. He actually manages to catch Prey on towards the back. The splay comes out. Messiah gets targeted. It's another kill for Shy, and they are dominating now, Korea. China trying their best to make some plays, but every time Korea is there once again.
Just the counter attack by Korea has been amazing all throughout this all-star event. They are still poking down despite Shy having a sliver of health, getting another turret just because they can.
Just because they can. It's 10-3 in kills, and that is almost a 10,000 gold lead. 19 minutes into the game. It makes the turrets 4-0 right now for Korea.
This is quite an impressive showing. Not only have they picked in a jungle Gragas, he's 3-1, and Shy, with barely a sliver of jungle help, has just turned himself into a monster. I'd say, as far as an individual performance goes, this may be better than what PDD was playing like yesterday.
Absolutely, he's got that Black Cleaver. The Mirror Mana just completed as well. That just popped into vision, and he is unstoppable. And look at this, a Morello Necromon built on the jungler of Insect.
And this is actually kind of a fun interaction that Jace has when he builds a Black Cleaver, because Black Cleaver applies the stacking armor debuff on every application of physical damage. So when Jace swaps into his range form, that's 1 application. If he has his Mirror Mana active, that's 2, and his auto attack counts as a 3rd. So on his first hit in range farm, he gets 3 shredding stacks of the Black Cleaver, which is a bit of pain coming in for the Chinese All-Stars.
That may be what the Russians would call OP.
Maybe a little bit, and if he builds Blade of the Rune King, full stack on 1 hit.
Well, we see the ping ward fight coming out. Insect is going to clear out that wave. Ward's going down left, right, and center. And, well, Insect is ready to throw out that barrel. Xiao Zhao is going to stick around, taking a barrel in the backside. Took down about a quarter of his health, and Shy continues to shove that top lane. They have to do something to deal with him. They're going to lose 1 turret here.
And they're getting poked so hard because this is essentially a poke competition in disguise by the Korean All-Star team. LPL, in order to stop the poke competition, would have to hard engage, but because there's the Mirror Mana transform and so much power right now on the Korean All-Star team, a hard engage might be the last thing they want to do.
It would be a hard engage for sure, but it'd be hard for China, and they would get destroyed, I feel. Now, way down now in gold, way down in items as well. Looking across the board, Infinity Edge versus the Blade of the Rune King. Right item, honestly, for Wei Zhao, but just in the wrong moment. And as you mentioned, back early on, oh, we do see actually jumping in. Ambition pounces in there, demolishes. Xiao Zhao, I didn't even see him on the screen and he was dead. But we do see an explosive cast on PDD. There's another barrel rolled out. They're going to go in towards Troll. Hammer comes down. Oh, what an earth happened there. He slid in, slid straight out. Troll gets ace in the hole, comes in. Wei Zhao tries to come on. He gets taken down. Shy gets demolished. And that is Korea absolutely demolishing China in their own base. They haven't even taken the inhibitor down, but they're just going to wreck the base instead.
5-for-0 kill almost out of nowhere. First off, Xiao Zhao disappeared, and then they just all hopped into the base to make work of the rest of the Chinese squad. The death timers are maybe too low for them to be able to end this game, as they have to back away.
Wow. just destructive force, and that is simply put Korea knowing how strong they are right now. So many times we see teams get in this strong position, but they are well aware of their strength, and they were quite happy to go all in on the turrets.
And there was some ridiculous timing on the Jace knockback right there. This may not be the case forever for Jace, but right now, when he has the angle of the knockback started, even if you move block away, it's going to take your initial position into account when he knocks it back. So since he was knocking him out of the base before he flashed in, it knocked him completely out of the base once he did go.
He was like, what, what? Had to flash away straight away, but it was too little too late. And he did finally get in there. 7-0-3 for Shy right now. He was dominant in game 1, he is dominant in game 2. And honestly, to be putting frank against North America, he was very dominant, and Europe absolutely smashed them as well. 5-1-3 from the jungle. Insect on Gragas.
I think it's safe to say the Korean All-Star team is dominating the world in this event because every game has just been really a roll-through for them. They have played so amazingly well, and the style points at the end with the jungle Gragas are a nice touch here, as they're probably going to look to end fairly quickly.
And without, I'll get to that in a moment, as they dive in towards Insect. Actually, he just walks away from that one, or effectively waddles away from that one. Shy continues to shove in that bottom lane. Zhao Zhao, do you really want this off? I'm not sure you do, but they are going to get a kill on Prey, and that's a big kill for China. Can they try and make something from it, like a Baron?
And China will have to continue to push. The Baron is out of the question because they're getting collapsed on by 4 other strong members of the Korean team. This could be a very game-defining play.
They've managed to find Shy, but I'm not too sure they can land it. The hook gets rolled out, but Insect has other ideas. That's going to be the wild growth. There's Wage out. He's going to get focused on. Can he take the dark passage? No, because it was a passage to nowhere. And Ambition comes in, and Insect picks up a kill. Another one. Insect goes leaping round. Shy drops the hammer, and it is going to be yet another ace for Korea.
4 for 2 in that one. Troll just got out of there. It was very close to an ace. That's definitely what it seemed like, because despite having no AD carry in that fight, they had enough just straight up damage because they really did have an AD carry in that fight. His name was Shy, and he came from the other side.
Came from the other side. That seems to be how it is all working out for Korea. And what I was about to mention as they pick up the Baron is really, if any seed is deserving. And deserving is a harsh word because there's a lot of top teams in the world, but I feel the Korean scene right now is definitely one that may well want that extra slot in the Season 3 World Finals.
If they're able to finish off this game, which they have an extreme chance of doing, there is such top to bottom depth in the Korean scene right now that extra team will still probably have a chance of competing for the championship in the World Finals. It won't just be an extra team that they end up sending.
Absolutely. We'll see, of course, who that could be. Managed to keep out your eyes on the summer seasons in the OGN Champions, as well as all the other summer splits that are coming up. But right now, it is Korea versus China, and China are in desperate, desperate trouble on home soil. And could we see another 2-0? We've not seen a single best-of-3 go the distance yet.
It's a little bit of luck, and I think a little bit of Korea just being amazing throughout this entire tournament. The reason we haven't seen a game actually go all 3 sets, because these have been very, 3 games, these have been very dominating performances.
Very dominating indeed. We see another Black Cleaver being picked up. This time, of course, it is Ambition. He's got that as well as his cooldown boots. He will be stacking. Well, LPL, they're sat waiting in the bush, but I'm not sure it's the right time. Insect goes in, throws out the barrel. He may well get taken down here. Wage out does manage to pick up one kill, gets that shutdown, but Troll gets melted. Ambition leaps back out there. Messiah goes trying to get away from this one, and the poke on towards Wage out there. Ace in a hole gets blocked off by PDD, and again, it is a 1-for-1 trade, a 2-for-1 trade. Sorry, I didn't even see Troll go down.
Some of these people are just disappearing because there is so much damage and burst that comes out from Kha'Zix and Jace combined when they jump onto that target, and that is not even a transformed man immune yet on Ambition. It's at about 670 right now, so it will be soon if this game makes it that far.
And the Abyssal Scepter being picked up by the jungler, why not?
May as well.
May as well just get a bit more ability power as the Shock Blast lands on Wage out, almost takes half his health off, and that turret is getting shredded down by the Korean All-Stars.
And this is going to be just poke upon poke, or maybe just a whole bunch of brute force, because they just tanked up that auto attack turret, and the inhibitor goes down super fast. Those hypercharge, and one shot from Caitlyn is what did that to that turret.
Absolute demolition. The Chinese team happens to defend off their super minion stack that was coming up the mid lane. They will hold off once again as Korea do back away to buy here. They may well buy themselves just that tiny amount of time, but it is not a great deal of time, and you can see, honestly, on their faces, their concern, and the concern from the home fans as well. This is a very quiet 8,000-seater stadium right now.
This is such a passionate crowd, and was yesterday when China won their spot in the finals, and they just have not had a chance to get into this one. We just realized there's an 18,000, soon to be 20,000 gold lead, only 27 minutes into the game.
The final inhibitor turret does fall, and now all inhibitors are exposed to the Korean All-Stars as they start breaking down the door of the Chinese LPL All-Stars. There is not a great deal right now they can do to defend this one. Insec is simply waiting for his moment to land that explosive cask on Wei Zhao, and that will open up the attack from Korea.
And it's just a matter of who Ambition wants to eat first, I'm pretty sure, because it was Zhao Zhao in their last days, and he's going to nom on a few minions in the bottom lane. He's got the Muramana transform at this point.
I'm not too sure what they can do to stop Shy either. He's 9-0-4, and honestly, from the very beginning, there's not been a lot to stop him. That one little bit of help. Oh, they flash engage. Is it the right time? I'm not too sure. The Wild Growth, this is an all-in move from China, and it is going to be all out as well, because it's Korea that turn it around, and they just melt everyone in the Chinese All-Stars. Look at Ambition leaping on. Can he get on the fountain? Wei Zhao does manage to escape. Ambition takes a lot of tower hits there, but it is going to be the Korean All-Stars that will be taking the world by storm and taking their spot rightfully at the top of the World All-Stars.
That was such an amazing performance by the Korean All-Star team, getting the last hits here on the Nexus. Start to finish domination.
Absolute. There you can see the Korean team, Mad Life Prey, very happy with their victory. Ambition in that mid lane. Really, this is a Korean team made up of 4 different teams that have come together and dominated the world.
This was a statement, I have to say, by the Korean All-Star team. They only had a week to prepare coming into this one.
They're still active. They're still playing.
They're
the
still
semi-finals.
they're in the middle of their playoffs right now. All these teams coming together and actually sharing strategies, sharing their tendencies with each other, because they know in the long run it will be better for their league and themselves getting that extra spot.
Beneficial to them all. Actually, you've got to wonder, Messiah is distraught there, bless him. You've got to wonder if this has helped the Koreans, the fact that they are mid-season, but China as well, they are mid-season, they got their playoffs to come as well. So both of these teams, oh, he wants a hug from PDD Shy there. I'm not too sure whether it's a hug or it's just like, what happened, man? That was pretty one-sided. I was expecting a bit of a challenge. PDD shaved his head yesterday after losing to SOAS, and may well have to shave more of his body hair because that was being dominant performance. I'm not too sure what bets he may well have had shot with Shy there.
Yeah, that was just a showing by Shy as well. At the end of that game, 9-0-7. World-class, above world-class play.
World-class indeed. And honestly, you've got to think, really, it wasn't that close of a game. It was Korea showing the world that they are the best at League of Legends right now.
I mean, even a couple stats, 54,500 to 32,000 in that game. It went on for a while. I think because it was the finals, China definitely didn't want to surrender. In front of this crowd, not want to disappoint. Every single last resource was devoted, which actually made it seem a little more one-sided than another game where a team just surrenders.
So what do we realistically take from this? Obviously, it's been a bit of an exhibition, the All-Stars. It is for a serious point. It is for an extra spot in the World Finals, as well as, of course, those buys that they got through the group stage. But what do we take from this? Do we see the Korean seed? What is so great about the Korean seed right now that is putting them so far ahead of everyone else?
I think one of the things is their OGN, like their Champions League, has been going on for quite a while and has been highly competitive the whole time. Because we think of the North American and European LCS as something that's actually only been happening for about 4 months. But the OGN Champions seasons have been going since when North American teams were going over to Korea to play. So they've definitely, even just in League of Legends, not even counting other games, have fostered their competitive environment from an earlier time, which may be one of the small things that contributed to this.
And actually, if you think about it, the competitiveness, the high-pressured nature of the OGN champions that they have is the fact that some teams that were in there that won it maybe before or were close to getting there, even in the quarterfinals, semifinals, didn't even get through this time. They got knocked out in the playoffs because there's so much competition, and suddenly you see teams and players coming out the woodwork. I think back to Shy. You know, obviously you think the adjustments that Frost had after Season 1, they shuffled around, you're like, oh, I'm not sure that's going to work out. Frost have been dominant. Blaze have been dominant. Najin Sword, of course, won it before. Now we're seeing the likes of SK Telecom coming through Team 2. They're in there. MVP Ozone. There's so many strong teams in Korea right now. How do you set them all apart when you can see them just grouped together like that on the stage and dominate the world?
I really think that it's going to be a question that the rest of the world has to answer before they make it to the World Finals, because even though this is the All-Star game, we absolutely know that Korea had the strongest team.
Yeah, and you can see they're obviously on the stage receiving their plaudits from the Chinese crowd, and it was a respectful applause, I think. It would have been a bit of a bigger roar if it would have been the Chinese, but I think, you know, even speaking to some Chinese fans that we've had here that have come up to us that do speak the English, and they basically said, you know, how impressive their Korea have been. It was like, when I asked them, it's like, well, it's China-Korea final, who do you think is going to win? They were like, Korea. So they're predicting, they were right in their predictions because
it's a 50-50 vote, and we saw them all esports.
But you don't expect the home fans to say Korea will win.
It speaks to the knowledge of these fans as well.
It speaks
you
volumes.
Can't say enough. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the compositions of these teams, because we have to remember, the LPL All-Star squad for China, the #2 team in that league, OMG, didn't have a single representative of the All-Star team, whereas the Korean team was made up of the top players from 4 different top Korean teams.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. Fantastic stage, by the way. You can see it there. I'm sure you guys have been all talking about how this setup has been working. Hopefully, we're going to see some more fantastic stages. Don't forget, of course, the Season 3 World Finals are to come later in the year. The summer split will be coming up shortly. It's already been announced that the European LCS will be starting at DreamHack. Of course, the American LCS will be kicking off soon as well. And, you know, looking across the world, you think of the Garena Premier League, the OGN Champions, which is still ongoing. Of course, they're going to have another season. Don't forget to miss those. Don't miss those semi-finals. Don't forget to miss them. Definitely don't miss them, because those semi-finals will be fantastic. The fact that Frost and Blaze are going to be facing off against each other, SK Telecom, and of course MVPOs, and they're facing each other. Meanwhile, in the Chinese LPL, which you've just seen there, IG are facing off against OMG, I believe, or is it the other way around?
So
no, they're playing Positive
playoffs
Energy.
have just started, so they haven't
WWE face OMG. No, they're seeded. They're set. Yeah.
Was it the top 4 that made it into the playoffs?
Yeah, 1v4 and 2. Yeah,
it's absolutely W versus OMG,
which is in itself a big game. And OMG is a team we've not really talked a great deal about, but they actually finished second in that, and they did manage to get through. But we are going to send you down, ladies and gentlemen, to the main stage. You can see Dustin back.
Hey everyone, that was an incredible weekend, and congratulations to the All-Stars, everyone who's here, and to the team tournament champions, the Korean LCL All-Stars.
大家好，这是一个难忘的周末，让我们再次将掌声献给这支我们获得冠军的 LCL 韩国全明星战队。
It's been a huge honor to be here to watch these games play out on such a grand stage, and to see everyone come out to support the All-Stars.
今天我感到非常荣幸，可以来到这边和你们一起见证这些伟大选手以及伟大英雄联盟的玩家朋友共同奉献的精彩赛事。
On behalf of Riot Games, I want to thank China, the city of Shanghai, and all you great fans here today for being such amazing hosts.
在此，我仅代表 Rush 公司感谢中国上海，感谢每一位来到现场的玩家朋友们，你们太棒了！
And thanks also to everyone who's watching and playing, not only here, but around the world. I want you guys to know that you are all the reason that's made all of our esports efforts possible.
同时，我要向全球所有正在关注本次全明星赛事直播的玩家朋友们表示感谢。正是因为有了你们，才能让 All Star 的周末变得如此精彩。
We're going to continue to make 2013 the best year ever for esports.
让我们一起携手，将2013成为电子竞技这项运动发展史上最具有里程碑意义的一年。
So, anyways, without further ado, guys, we have the world premiere of the League of Legends cinematic, A Twist of Fate.
Wrist of Fate. And honestly, if St. Vicious was around, he could have smited that Baron down, no problem at all.
Well, I think St. Vicious was not quite in that video. He was not a character quite in League of Legends, but no. Good one.
It's a fantastic video nonetheless, and you know, it's great to see the reaction to the fans. I'm happy that things like that still get created for you guys at home. Absolutely love it.
That is by far the best League of Legends cinematic I've ever seen.
Absolutely no messing around. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen at home, that about does it for us here. But remember, if you missed any of the incredible All-Star action this weekend, you simply want to relive the excitement, you can check it all out. The matches are on YouTube/LOL Esports or lolesports.com.
And coming up in just a couple weeks, it's the return of the League Championship Series. The North American LCS Summer Split starts with a 20-game Super Week live from Los Angeles on Wednesday, June 12th.
And then on June 15th, the European LCS Summer Split kicks off live from DreamHack. I'll be there, everyone will be there, all the teams, you've got to be there.
Well, that's it from Shanghai, China. Congratulations to all the skill competition winners and all All-Star Team Tournament champions, our tournament champions, the Korean LCS All-Stars.
And on behalf of myself, Jan here, Freak, Riv, Joe, Shox, and the rest of the broadcasting crew, I'd love to thank them all, but we haven't got time. Thank you very much to you guys, the fans at home, for tuning in. Good night.
Oh my gosh! My life's going in there and expensive! Oh, it's gonna go down! Okay! All of a sudden, all turns as they are gonna go in once again.
This could be it!
There it is, Diamond in.
Oh!
Teleport coming in from Dyrus. There's the ace in the hole. They try to put damage on him right away. Shy flashes into the fight behind Dyrus so he doesn't get locked up. And it's going to be C taking so much damage. Ambition just taunted them in front of their beast. Beautiful team coordination here from Korea as they execute onto a teleported in fight by North American LCS team.
네. No, 괜찮아. 삐져.
And 54 for Wei Zhao. Here's your answer going in. It's going to be Twisty Fate. It's going to be Wei Zhao's the target. There's no turret to fall back on. That's going to be the flash kill. He jumps on towards Zhao. Zhao gets the slowdown and the stun card. That will be 2 kills. All the look, or was it skill? Oh my god, Madlife with the flash. He wants to go into Zhao. Zhao uses his fall growth, but now we see there's going to be Messiah coming around. He gets on towards Insect. Troll has picked up a double kill now. But it is going to be the Korean All-Stars that will be taking the world by storm and taking their spot rightfully at the top of the World All-Stars.
Yes, okay.